Hey, what's going on with you? Welcome to the hottest show on the planet, of course. How y'all doing? I'm your host, Frederick Jackson. As you can see in the background right here, this is Ann Arbor Community Television Station. Been doing my show and had a voice here for many years, and I appreciate the station. And of course, now that the political election thing has cleared and we know what's going on with the vote and saying that we know what's happening, I want to work on fighting to keep our voice and our community voice especially alive. This station provides a voice for those of us in our area which we can express to our elected officials and communicate with each other as to what's going on in real time. One of the most important assets in our community, of course, is our community television station and the ability to protect freedom of speech and freedom of the press in real time, real news and real facts. And that's what Community Television Network gives us an opportunity to have. We want to definitely make sure that we keep our community television station and all the community television stations, public stations, all around the world. So I urge you to let your elected officials know on the local, state, national, and federal level that we want to keep the internet free and we want to keep our public community channels where we can have a voice to the community and we can talk to, learn about, know in real time what's going on with our government, city officials, public officials in real time and get a chance to talk to them and stay up on the different changes, ordinances, and laws that are going on. You cannot get more important than having the community television station. I want to thank everybody at our community television, from the interns to the staff to the city and everybody in the area and everybody that watches the channel and everybody, of course, that participates in making it happen. We want to keep our community channel and we want to keep the internet free. And of course, we do not want to let cable companies or telephone companies or any one particular company monopolize and change how we communicate on the internet today. So it's up to us, it's up to you to make sure you stay registered to vote. You come, you stay, and you do your due diligence as to what's going on. And we call in, and I'm going to be showing some different pages and links that you can go to and inform you of some different information and articles as to where you can go to let your officials know that you do not agree with letting corporations take over and change the freedoms and also how the contributions to the community television has been done. We want to keep that and preserve that. Let's go ahead and get back to some more. Get back over here at my other spot. We're going to walk through, of course. We're doing our virtual thing. And we appreciate everybody again. That's the community television channel. And we're going to get down in the mix and we're going to do it like this. But before we get into some other things, let me show you a few things. Again, that's Ann Arbor Community Television Network. Let me click on some more information that I want you to think about, talk about, and see. Let's do it like this. This is where they're at and what they have put on the table to do. Let's check it out, take a look at it, show you what I want you to see for yourself as to what it is.
What will it mean if the FCC takes away local authority in your community? $100 million in lost revenue to Michigan communities annually. Millions of dollars lost in wireless revenue. No saying what is installed and where in your community. Your roads and other places that you will pay for. Your tax dollars. All going to subsidize the folks who send you those cable and cell phone bills every month. Tell your congressional representative to contact the FCC and let them know you do not support this federal intrusion into local road. And contact your state representative and tell them to vote no on Michigan's SB 637.
No question about it. Of course, this is one of the things that is going on with our community and what's happening with now that the votes have been put in. Let's take a look at this. Here is some information and some explanation as to different concepts of what's happening with that bill. Let's take it in progress. Let me let you check this out.
The hottest administrative action right now that we're working with at ACM, with our members and with our allies across the United States. It's the FCC's second further notice of proposed rulemaking, or FNPRM, on cable franchising. That's the docket number 05311 that was issued in September at the same time as the wireless order. I'll go through this a lot. I guess the thing you should know about this bill is that it's directly related to court challenges that have occurred over the course of the last decade to an earlier order, where the FCC said in-kind monies can be applied against franchise fees. And they never defined what in-kind was, believe it or not. So like in-kind could be, and this notice specifically after a court had actually kicked out the earlier ruling in 2016 and found that the FCC had acted in an arbitrary and capricious manner, simply saying, oh, in-kind fees will be taken against franchise fees across the country. The court said, no, you actually have to define what in-kind fees are. You can't just sort of make stuff up. I was going to say crap, but the court said something a little bit more genteel. You can't just make things up. So the FCC's taken them at their word. They're proposing that in-kind has a definition. In-kind support has a definition. What is in-kind support under a cable franchise, according to the FCC? According to the FCC's proposed definition, it's any kind of obligation that has material value. That is not money in the franchise fee or related to, PEG capital that you may get in a PEG fee. Well, what is that? Could be anything at fair market value. And what they're proposing is a mechanism that says that a cable company can flag that amount and then deduct money against franchise fees automatically, so that the local franchising authority never sees the franchise fee if there's something of value that's been given in the franchise. So what could that be? Well, it could be your facility, if it's operating support for the facility, separate from the PEG capital. A lot of places co-locate with cable head ends across the country. You see a lot of places actually having free rent because of that co-location. That free rent suddenly has a monetary value and can be charged against franchise fee. It could be promotional support that you receive on the channels. Many places will get in-kind support with free PSA insertion. Well, free actually means we charge you, apparently. Okay? So that free benefit you got before suddenly has a commercial value that will be charged back against the franchise fee. And bill inserts. Now, many people don't get mailers anymore. But it used to be that you could have like bill inserts. That would be charged back because there's obviously a material value of some market. Cable drops to schools. I mean, the cable industry was built upon the idea, cable in the classroom was a project, a decades-long project to promote the cable industry for free. And cable drops were put in every classroom. Well, suddenly you'd have to pay for every cable drop out of the franchise fee.
As you can hear, of course, you see that if you don't keep up on the issues, there's a lot to be said about knowing what's going on with the issues. You have to know what's going on so that you can make an educated guess and an educated decision to let your elected officials know where you at and what you want to do. Definitely, from my perspective, doing community and community television for a long time, it is very important that you be informed as to what it means, as he explained to you, the rhetoric and, of course, the double-sided, double talk, as I'm concerned, about how they have the bill put together, where, when he was saying free, but they're going to charge you. You have to do your research, do your due diligence. The main thing is the different links that I'm going to show you, make sure that you get on and you can see exactly what's going on for yourself. Get in contact with your local, state, and federal officials, let them know that you do not want them to change the cable companies and anyone else that would help with the education and help with us being able to communicate and have our community stations and then stations across the country and across the world, of course, that is affected by what's going on with this. We want us to continue to have it free, internet, and look into net neutrality, and look into what's going on with after elections, what it means with the vote on that bill, and how we can continue to fight to keep it so we can have our community. Let's go to another page. I'm going to go to some other information that I want you to see too as well. And we're going to talk about that, and we're going to bring it up. We're going to get to this, of course. Let's go back to a little bit more of what's going on with what he's saying. Let's do it like this.
INETs, maybe. Depends upon the agreement. Some INETs would be charged against the franchisee, some would not. Fiber services from your location to their head end. That would certainly have a commercial cost that would be charged back. Here's another one, drops you have for live origination points. Many places will use some type of fiber backhaul for live origination. That would be charged back. Here's one that the FCC doesn't preclude. The commercial value of the channel itself. And I think in most markets, that alone, if a cable operator was ballsy enough, would basically eviscerate franchise fees. Certainly in the New York markets, where I just was, those four boroughs, imagine what those, what a commercial channel would be in the New York market. Well, Manhattan Neighborhood Network runs 12 of those. So, take that value times 12 and then deduct it against your costs.
No question about that, of course. So we're going to go ahead and I want to show you some other pages, of course, that you should be aware of. And I want to make sure that you get a chance to go and check out some of the things, of course, no question about it, for yourself. Let's bring this up so you can check it out and see what's going on. As you can see, here, this is the report that was done. You can click online and check it out. As you can see here, of course, you get a chance to see what's going on here. You get a chance to see the article. As you can see what's going on with the article, and you can see what it is. All you got to do is go to this, the technology article. And of course, I'm going to show you some links, but you make sure that you go to and you check out your local, state, federal. You got to call them, email them, or get in contact with them, or you can go up to your city hall if you don't know. If you're out and about, you can go and you want to find out where you need to go, but you can always do it on your mobile device as well. Let them know that you definitely do not want this to happen. You want to keep what is important for people that need it in the classroom, for people that's doing the community television stations. We want to keep that for the community, and we want to also keep the internet, the net neutrality, keep the internet accessible and free for everyone involved. And here's one of the articles. You see the information, you can go to your mobile device or whatever online source you use. Read this article, look into it, of course, same thing with the other article. Let everyone know. Let your voice be heard, and let them know that you do not want to change. You want to keep it, and you want to preserve it and preserve your channel and all the stations across the country. I'll be reaching out to them, and we'll be in the trenches addressing this issue, working on this issue, and continuing to fight to keep net neutrality, keep it free, and also to keep our community television station. And I appreciate all the years of the great service that our community television has done, our television station has done. So let me go back to some more articles for you to check out, and appreciate you, getting down with us. So make sure you get online and check this article out. Here, I got a few more articles that I want you to see, I want you to check out. Let's go to those. This was from September 24th, and it was one of the articles written, Bloomberg Report. Now, here's another article. This is from the United States Conference of Mayors, and as you can see, the United States Conference of Mayors are against changing anything that affects their city. You see the article, and I'm going to go back up. And as you can see, of course, they strongly opposed the Federal Commission, what they wanted to do, you know what I mean? And it affects the local governments, and it affects the local stations, the local rights of way and public property, of course. It's a big deal, and you have to do your due diligence and do your, your study and your research. But as you can see, this is a very serious issue, along with different issues that are very serious that we will be talking about and addressing, of course. And as you can see here, you can go to this, the links are on here, you can bring it up, you have it on your mobile device or whatever you're watching this on. And this was the United States Conference of Mayors. And the United States Conference of Mayors strongly opposed this issue. They did not want to support any few particular companies monopolizing and changing how the community stations and how we can bring our community voice to you. And we have to work on preserving our community voice and also our net neutrality, internet voice in real time with real facts. Is important that we do so. So it's up to us to let the people that we send to positions to serve us in our interest to know that we are strongly opposed to big corporations coming in and changing community television, and changing it from being accessible and free and having our voice out to being something that charge back franchise-style fees to make it not accessible to the whole community, and that they're profiting from it, and the community is not being able to have a accessible channel to express our voice, as we were doing here for many years. So very important, and you can keep up on what's going on in your community, what's going on with your elected officials, what's going on in your city, state, that deals with every issue across the board. So I urge you to call your state, local, and federal officials, email, call, text, go in, whatever you need to do, and make sure that these articles that I'm bringing to you, along with other articles, do your due diligence and find out what the issues are. And we are strongly opposed to not having the internet be free and not having our community channels be free and accessible to everyone, and being a monopolized issue for big corporations. All right? I got a couple more issues and a couple more articles to show you, and we may visit more of the explanation that I showed earlier on the videos as we do this issue. All right? Let's check that out. As you can see, the United States Conference of Mayors. As you can see the headline there at the beginning, it says that the executive director and the CEO, was strongly opposed to, and this is his letter at the conference. Let's visit another page as well. And let's do it like this. I'm going to visit another one of the pages I have set up for you. This particular page, as you can see, this particular page is very important. And the reason why this page is very important is because you can go to this online and you can put in, find your representative if you have an issue as to knowing who or how to get in contact or who your representative is. You can go to find your representative and you can, of course, find out who it is. That way you can know how to call them, email them, or get in contact with them to voice your opinion. And definitely those of us who are opposed to letting corporations take over and not have the community television network that's been free to us. And we're talking about not just in our community, but in all the communities across the country and across the world, and keeping the internet free, for us to be able to have access to the internet as we have for many years and as it was designed to be, just like the community television stations were designed to support and communicate with what's going on with the community, and it's our community and other communities. So I'm reaching out to all the stations and all, of course, your folks are interested in being involved and working on fighting to keep their voice out for their community in real time with real facts. And this is how we're able to communicate with you in the community and you communicate with us, and we can hear what our elected officials, things that's going on in our neighborhood, in our communities, how it affects us, all right? Got a few more to show you. Let me go over here so you can check that out. And, we appreciate you doing this with us. I'm going to go to a few more pages I want you to see. We're going to visit a little bit more of the explanation. And as you can see, you can find your representatives. You can find out who they are in your area. As I scroll down, you can see different community people in our area, of course, that you should know who they are and what they're about. You can get their information on how to get in contact with them. And it's very important that you know how to get in contact and reach your representing officials, the officials that represent you in your area that you have elected to have your best interests. And it's always good to have your community channel because, you can go on and you can talk about what you want to talk about, and you can see who you want to see and talk about what you want to talk about and you need to hear, and you get a chance to hear from them what it's about and where they are. Definitely the information where you can go to where your official is. You can go to where your official is, and you can see where they are, you can see who they are, and you can get in contact with them, and you can let them know how you feel and what's going on with your voice. Very important. You can check it out on your mobile device. You can do it on your whatever device you use to communicate on, and of course, get in contact and let these people know that you are opposed to changing anything and you want to reserve your community, not just for now, but for many years to come, and for, it affects people in the classroom, people in the college classroom, people in the high schools, the middle schools, the smaller schools, and your community in general that goes on with what's happening with your politicians. Been a little redundant in repeating it, but I just want to make sure that, say it so you can know it and hear it. here are some other pages, and here's some of the, folks or whoever your official is in your area that you need to contact to let them know. We're talking about not just in our community, but in all the communities across the region, area, country, right? Very important to do that. So you can go and find your representative. There's many different ways to do that online. Very important. Let me go to another article as well. And this article, I definitely, want you to check out. Definitely, I want you to check out this article. Very important. Let's go to it. And it's talking about in September what the FCC done. You can see it in big letters, of course. I'm gonna scroll up and down, of course. Before I do that, let me come out here. A very important article. This article talks about, and I'm going to scroll to the next page, as you can see, this article talks about, and of course the name of some of the things that are going on about the FCC, what some of the big corporations want them to do that affect those of us in the community television, of course, and community radio, and of course net neutrality, internet streaming. We want to keep it free, but this issue affects how our community television cable stations, what you need to do and what they are proposing to do to change how the community television is accessible to you and I. I'm going to scroll down this page so you get a chance to read. Then there'll be a link that hopefully you can, pause in your DVR or, of course, play back to write down so you can click on to get more information as to what's going on and how you can let your voice be heard to let them know that you are opposed to changing or making it not accessible or free, and that you're opposed to anyone that would want to try to monopolize and change the ability to communicate on community television and internet as well. Let me go ahead and scroll up and down so you can check it out and see the other issues. And of course, we're going to do some more of our regular scheduled program, but this is one of the issues that was so important that I want you to see. I'm going to slowly scroll. As you can see, read along, of course, and it talks about what's happening, and it talks about what happened in September. And as the gentleman explained earlier on what some of the points were, some of the talking points, this one says in September the FCC announced a future notice of proposal rulemaking on local franchise authorities, LFA, and the public right of way, PROW. The first step to take away money and negotiations from local government for industry to use the PROW at little to no cost currently to PROW is a percentage of the company gross income in the municipalities. This used to be negotiated via all local government, but now it's changed. They want to change it. It's changed to state franchise agreements, like in Michigan in 2008. The state franchises in Michigan, a municipality can get 5% franchise fee and 2% PEG fee from the provider for their area. However, they can negotiate more or less if they wish. This FCC FNPRM leads to more money back in the corporation's pocket and less money going to the municipalities. I've been told this will cost the government $3 billion. We do know that one big industry player recently bought another for $40 billion in cash. So what really is $3 billion to them? That is a good question. Also, the FCC FNPRM also counteract most, if not all, of the wording in the 1984 Cable Act about LFA's franchise fees, PEG fees, and PROW. You should contact your local and state and federal elected officials and make this issue known to them. Tell them you oppose the FCC future notice of proposed rulemaking on cable franchises and local franchise authorities. No question about that, of course. It goes on. Let me find my scroller, and we're going to get down with more of that. As you can see here, definitely tell them you oppose the FCC future notice of proposal rulemaking on cable franchises and local franchise authorities. If you're not sure who your elected officials are, visit www.commoncause.org, find your representative. It's all good, it's right there, of course. You can see that, check that out, and click on the link, no problem. I think what I'm going to do at this point, of course, in the show, is I'm going to go back to a little bit more of the gentleman explaining what the talking points was. He was explaining, of course, in real time what it was, what it is, and what it means. And we're going to go back to him talking about it a little bit more as we click on and look at a few more of the, the articles that I've shown already. And then we'll get back into more things. And we'll be talking about this, along with many other issues, in depth. And I'll be showing you, of course, I want you to see, click on the links, but more importantly, tell everyone you know, your friends, stay registered to vote. And if you're not registered, get registered. And also, you have to stay on top of the issues that affect you, especially now. All right, the future is now. We're in it. And let's stay on top of what we need to let our voice be heard, and also to let the elected officials that we vote for know that we're out here and they are accountable to us to make sure that our best interest is served. So let's go back and listen to a little bit more of the gentleman who was explaining some of the talking points, and then we'll get back into some of our regular scheduled programming. No question about that as we're doing this thing. Let's go back to a little bit more of what we got happening. Appreciate you getting down in the mix. I want to leave that up, give you a chance to check that out and jot that down if need be. And that's how we do it. I appreciate you and you as we get down in the mix. Again, one of the most important things is to let your voice be heard. Talk to your representatives. Let them know what you need to do, no question. Again, been doing things here. This is the Ann Arbor Community Television Station. We want to keep and preserve the Ann Arbor television station and many stations like it across the country, no question. And that's how we're going to do it. Appreciate y'all getting down in the mix, of course. And let's go back to a few more talking points that he was talking about it. Let's do it like this.
To defund franchises, administratively, in our view, in violation of the Cable Act. Okay? I mean, and it's curious. Basically, any non-monetary benefit could be charged back. What that fair market value is not clear. There's actually some discussion about using leased access costs, right? Because leased access channels exist under a different section of the Cable Act, and commercial vendors can buy channel time. That's the reason why you see those butt exercising things on late night television, right?
Again, that's what we're going to do. We wanted to come to you and talk to you about it, no question about it. I wanted to bring this to you. I want to talk about it. It's a very important issue to me, and I know that it should be a very important issue to you, and I appreciate everybody, of course, that, is letting their voice be heard. Make sure that you go and let your representative know. I try to bring you different information, different links that you can go check out, and we appreciate you going to check everything out, no question about it, all right? Thank you so much. I'm your host, Frederick Jackson, and let's preserve stations like Ann Arbor Community Television Network and stations of its kind all across the country, all of our public radio, all of our public internet cable, and our internet where it can be accessible and free to us. And same thing with the station. Get out, call your representative, email, call, text, whatever you need to do to let them know we strongly oppose big corporations coming in and wanting to not fund or not take care of and have the radio stations and television stations, cable stations, and, of course, keeping the internet free and accessible to us, all right? I'm your host, Frederick Jackson. Thank you so much. Thank you for checking it out. Keep riding, keep vibing. We're going to see you on the web.